Hi everyone, my name is Eeden Shale. I am the founder of Anthorna Gallery. I run Sacred Pokes, which is a body modification practice, and I represent Prophecy Canvas, which is my interpretation of psychic readings and spiritual work and the art that I do. So I wanted to sit down today and basically just take some time to talk about what it is that I feel like my mission is and my goal for the magic that I bring forth would be. I spend most of my time taking care of myself, encouraging my own recovery process. I'm a survivor of sex trafficking specifically. So I'm very passionate about advocacy and activism for survivors, for people just in all regards who have been through a lot of trauma. And when I'm not doing that, I really enjoy spending time with my cats, with my partner, getting into nature when I can. I do a lot of pop-ups, and I spend a lot of my time in Anthorna throwing shows and holding space for the community. Some of the questions that I get, or things that people may be wondering about me, or what my practice is why do I call myself a priestess? So to me, what a priestess is a really multifaceted archetype. It's somebody who could be an oracle, who could be a guide. It's somebody who takes the time to sit with themselves to receive clarity, and who is also somebody who's dedicated themselves in their life to be in service for other people. I specifically have been trained in the Red Tent Sisterhood, which honors the yin principle of nature. It honors the menstrual cycle, which has been so oppressed and talked about in such a secretive or disregarding way for so long. But I truly believe that that is, a power that people who bleed hold. That it is something that we can utilize to shed our pain and the blockages from even generations before us. It's something that I feel like we can find peace within ourselves, with being a legitimate part of nature, as humans are. So moving on from the priestesshood, feel free to ask me any more questions if you'd like me to get clearer on that. To me, it's something that really molds with my role. It can be something that I can show up for myself. I can show up for others as a priestess. I can show up for the community as a priestess. I can even show up for just being in the middle of the woods as a priestess, and honoring the environment. What is Sacred Pokes? Sacred Pokes is a practice that I have based on using body modification as something that we can utilize to heal ourselves in a really transformative fashion. So I don't use a machine when I tattoo, and that reasoning is because it's a bit more traumatic to the skin. I've tattooed with a machine. I can tattoo with a machine. I prefer not to. I've received machine tattoos. It's just a really oversaturated market, and for me, the way that I deliver it, I personally feel needs to be hand poked, manually applied, and that's totally cool. It heals very fast, and I like that. I feel like hand poke not only is a very back to the roots, origin point, this is how it started kind of body modification and healing art in general, but I also merge that with Reiki energy healing. If you're familiar with that, it's basically channeling that life force energy, that from the creator essence. Reiki can help with so many different things. It helps with PTSD, it helps with anxiety, it helps with physical ailments. I have literally seen it straighten people's like lower spines before. And that, again, like, spirit will just keep surprising you over and over and over again when you affiliate yourself with magic and with healing arts. There is really no way that Reiki can harm. It is very directed in releasing blockages and helping the spiritual body heal, and then the astral and the emotional body, and then the physical body heal, because where illness starts is always up at the top. And then on top of that, a recent integration that I've incorporated has been vibrational healing. So if you're familiar with tuning forks, they're about yay big. There's different kinds that you can use. There's weighted and unweighted, but these forks are used for a variety of different things. They're used for tuning instruments. They're used for clinical diagnoses. You can find out if you have a broken bone with them. You can also use them for physical and energy healing. So I have two different kinds that I use, generally speaking. One that focuses on the energetic body of somebody, and that one is connected to the solar plexus center, your personal empowerment, your will, your drive, your sense of direction. And then I have another one that is more physically focused. Like, I'll have people breathe with it so they can like really absorb, and it really helps relax muscles and whatnot. And it's connected to the root chakra, your base, your connection to the earth, your groundedness. So all of those things together, and occasionally for like consultations or whatnot, or for new clients, I'll do tarot reading to get a visual narrative, because I love art and tarot is art, so why not? I'm somebody who's struggled with like substance or addictions of varying kinds, so like I get it, and I have empathy for it. Yet at the end of the day, it's a matter of how we can all bring this back to a point of like, here's who I am, here's what I need, here's what I'm struggling with, how can we move forward? Tattooing or piercing or really any kind of body modification, scarification, whatever it be, asks us to sit with the reality of existing that is pain and turn it into something that we find beautiful, that expresses our soul, that expresses, again, how we are showing up. Because this physical body, it's a projection of what makes up everything. You know, the vibrating atoms that make up the rocks surrounding me right now, or the river behind me. Completely the same as the vibrating atoms that make me. But we embody it differently. When we are in this dimension, in this plane, we perceive it in a way where it's like, oh, okay, well, I am evidently a person, and like that is evidently a tree. But we're all made up of the same source consciousness. So I personally believe that when we work with body modification, we're taking and like develop a relationship with how we can utilize that source consciousness. For example, if you think of a chair, it just pops up, you know, like out of the blue, out of the void, because you conjured it in a certain way. Like, because, you know, thought is so powerful that we can give it an image, and we can give it a name, we can give it a label, we can give it a meaning. So when we do that and we apply it to our own sense of self, our own skin, our own creativity, then that's something that we can bear with pride and with honor. And so we're basically taking something out of the void, out of nothingness, and bringing it forth, but on our vessel, on our body, for that to be a permanent representation of how we show up, of how we take up space. One of my first memories ever was doing art. I sat down at like 2 years old and had one of my parents teaching me watercolors. And if there's anything that I can take from my personal ancestry, it was the artistic lineage, which I am so endlessly grateful for. For me, I struggled with a trigger warning, full disclosure. I struggled with a cutting addiction as a young teenager, a preteen, and what really helped me later on in my path was being able to turn that into something where I felt like I was getting like a totem, almost a rite of passage for sitting through my pain in this society that asks us to desensitize our pain and to act like it isn't really there and to pretend like it's something that we don't have to understand to get by, which is a lie. We fucking do. Pardon my French. I often call tattooing imprinting because when you have a like physical imprint, which is what a tattoo is, right? You also have an emotional one from that experience. You also have a spiritual one. You have one that stays in your psyche that neural pathways have developed around. So I like to address body modification in a way where it understands like the deep-seated impact that it has on us. And it has had on me, and I've learned all that I've learned through experience, and I would be doing a disservice to not be sharing that, because it's changed my life. Why can't it change somebody else's? So the way that I transmuted my particular like very unhealthy salvation for trauma as a younger version of myself to now where it's something that I can utilize for healing myself and for other people and is like my lifeblood, my love to share. Essentially, I had a background in fine art. I had been trained from a very young age, and I brought that into pointillism stippling. I went to college for a while. I was a double major in studio art and psychology. I thought I wanted to be an art therapist. And I've kind of found my own way to do that, that doesn't have to conform to like how society has deemed that people can get help. I became my own help. And I truly believe that that's what is at the heart of any healing practice. Like, it's you being your own help. It's you being your own savior. It's not looking to, oh, well, this person can fix me. It's saying, no, well, I know I have the keys within myself, so I'm going to utilize the resources that I have, the guidance that somebody else can give me, and, you know, our collective human talents to bring that forth and, like, as a whole, find something that helps me feel like I can process my pain, feel like I can be better, do better. It just brings us to a point of acceptance where we are now. So in that light, I have a very trauma-informed, background, inclusive kind of approach to how I do any of my work. Prophecy Canvas is a derivative of my creative energy that touches on, again, channeling the insights that we receive into something physical. So something that is etheric into something that is like concrete and tangible and physically manifest. I was born on the Capricorn Sagittarius cusp. I'm talking about tropical astrology for those who are into sidereal. And that's called the cusp of prophecy. And for whatever reason, like, that word had been popping up a lot when I first started developing Prophecy Canvas, and like had been painting a lot. So I was like, this just feels right. And there it was. When I first created Prophecy Canvas, I was going by a different name that sounded very similar to the biblical prophet Elijah. So that was like another synchronicity where I was just like, oh, okay, like, I need to listen to this. I need to bring this to life. So now that is the alias that I use for all of my visual art. It is what I teach Reiki under. It is what I do readings and like spell work for people with. And you can read more about that on my site as well, prophecycanvas.com. Pretty direct. But I just wanted to take this time to kind of like introduce myself and what I do and how I show up. this work is something that has kept me alive, and I credit to my evolution entirely. My sense of strength and my will. So I hope to be able to bring those same inspirations forward in other people. I'm always available to talk to ask questions. Of course, sometimes my services and my time and my attention is paid, and sometimes it is not. Depending on the set and setting, it is always polite to ask. Thank you for receiving me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I send you all the best. Blessed be.